Hello everybody, welcome to our presentation. We are Team We Push You Pull. We are going to talk you through our parenting tracker app today. Hi, I'm Chidam. I have a tech background and graduated 8 years ago. However, I don't have any industrial experience. I've been looking for a chance to go back into tech, and the School of Code came up, and I took the chance to relaunch my intended career.
Hi, I'm Jenny, an English literature graduate who's worked as a chef and then a project coordinator before going on maternity leave. I was drawn to the School of Code because of the potential for creativity, problem solving, and constant learning that comes from a career in tech.
Hello everyone, my name is Adam Mohammed. I used to work as a mobile solutions agent in the telecommunication industry with Vodafone Ghana. Thanks to the School of Code, I have now acquired the necessary skill, adapted the software engineering mindset to build software solutions for real life problems.
Hey everyone, my name is Dov and I'm a former delivery driver who's been almost all over the country, so I might have seen you before. And it's about time I became a software developer, so here I am.
Hello, I'm Asani, a former delivery driver who has always had a passion for coding. And School of Code helped to turn that passion into a set of skills which I now intend to use to deliver software solutions that will help to change the world for the better.
Hi everyone, my name is Rakaya. I used to work in cybersecurity as a regional manager and I've also worked as an investigator in the police. I joined the School of Code because I believe it's the closest I'm going to get to technology and be able to pursue a passion of becoming a digital nomad.
As a parent with a newborn baby, there's a lot of information you need to keep track of in order to ensure your little one is well taken care of. This may include when baby was last fed, what they had, and how long it took, as well as when they last slept and for how long. This can prove difficult for new parents, as it can be a lot to take in, or even for busy, experienced parents, as they have to juggle different roles. And this is where the newborn baby tracking app comes in. Using the old adage, it takes a village to raise a child, we wanted an app that doesn't just help a parent to keep track of baby's daily routine, but also allow for this information to be available to other permitted individuals who help in caring for baby, to allow for continuity and ease of information exchange. Most apps on the market do not have this community element of raising a child, where other users like relatives or nannies can access and update a child's profile with information about the child's day and how it went. This information will be made immediately available to be viewed by the parents or any other permitted parties with the purposes of helping to streamline the process of raising the baby. The newborn baby tracking app is a simple yet detailed app for tracking a child's daily routine, which can be used by parents to better understand their baby's habits as well as to inform other carers about the baby's needs. It has an added advantage of live updates, which can provide parents with peace of mind that their baby is well taken care of in their absence. The app makes it easy to record feeds, nappy changes, sleep times, as well as temperature changes, and also recording weights when needed. It has a single click login feature which makes it easy to access, whilst also keeping the child's data secure by having access restricted to only the allowed personnel. I will now pass you on to my colleague who will give you a demonstration of how the app works.
Newborn is a parenting app designed to help parents, grandparents, nannies, childminders, and others responsible for a child keep track of all the key parts of the child's life, from sleep to feed to nappy changes and more. Unlike other parenting apps, our intention is to make this a space for each carer to connect their information so that the child is receiving continuous care no matter who is looking after them. The first page of the app is our landing page. Users have the option to either sign up or log in, go to the Contact Us page, or read about us. If we log in, you'll see that we're using Auth0 for our authentication. We've also styled it so that it's consistent with the styling for our app and incorporates our logo. So I'll create a new account. Sign up. And then it takes us through to our role chooser page. One of the main features of our app is that it differs from other parenting apps because it will allow multiple carers of the child or children to contribute to the various trackers. This way, there's consistency of care when parents hand their child over to a babysitter, grandparent, or nanny. On this page, you can choose the role that you play in the child's life, and eventually you'll be able to choose to join a family. This feature is not active yet, but is part of our future plan, which we'll discuss shortly. Once a role is chosen, the family and user is created in the database using our REST API, the endpoints of which are also protected by Auth0. We continue to use and add to the database throughout the user's journey through our site. We then arrive at our user profile page. This consists of an avatar, which takes the user's initials from the backend and displays them, a button to create a child's records, and then once they're created, there will be further buttons for each of the user's children. The main purpose of this page is to provide information to be submitted to the child's record on the backend. Once stored, this then connects with the trackers linking to the child's feeds, sleeps, nappies, etc. So if we go here and create our child, just add some random information in and submit, you can see it's then created a button on the user profile page. We can click on this and it takes us to our child profile page here. And this is where each of the various trackers are displayed. Each button takes the user to a different element of the child's life.
Thank you for that, Jenny. I'll now be going over the trackers that we have for our child profile. First of all, sleep. At its most basic, this tracks the start and stop times of the child's sleep. However, this proved to be more complicated than it may appear at first. The information needs to be converted to the correct format so that it could be stored in the back end, then called again when required to be displayed in the front end again. The aim of this tracker is to have a graph showing the child's sleep patterns. This will require the sleep data to be fetched from the back end. Having a graph showing the patterns will mean that each carer has an idea of the child's nap and bedtimes, making the handover easier for both carer and child. Nobody wants to put a baby or toddler to sleep who isn't really tired, or worse, overtired. Next up, we have the feeding tracker. As with the sleep tracker, this allows carers to keep track of what their child has eaten, how much and when. This is probably our most detailed tracker. Here we have the option to choose breastfeed or a bottle feed. Let's look at the breastfeed aspect first. We can choose which breast the baby is fed from. Click the button and start a feed. We can swap breasts or stop the feed entirely. The entire feed is tracked with a simple button click, allowing the feeding parent to easily monitor their feed. Something like this can stop a parent from feeding from one breast more than the other and risk getting hematitis, meaning that they and the baby are more comfortable. The feed is then submitted and sent to the back end through our wonderful REST API. With the bottle feed tracker, the carer can choose the unit of measure for the feed, the type of milk given, and the amount. This is then submitted to the back end in the same way. Again, we would aim to provide a graph so that all our carers of the child can see clearly what the child has eaten and when. No over or underfeeding, and parents and carers can easily see if their child is increasing or decreasing their appetite, which can be useful for monitoring growth spurts and noticing potential illnesses, particularly when the child is too young to communicate that they are feeling under the weather. Next up, we have the solids tracker. The inspiration for this tracker came from the 100 foods before your baby is one trend currently occurring, particularly amongst parents who choose baby-led rather than traditional weaning, feeding the baby what you eat from 6 months old rather than baby jars being spoon-fed. We have a selection of the most common foods fed to babies in their first year in the form of fun little emojis, but we also have an input field so that parents or carers can add their own. This is all sent to the back end and stored in the table for that specific child, and that parents can easily track of what their child has tried. In the future, this could be developed to help parents monitor potential allergies, as we could incorporate a reactions tracker into this page. For example, if your child keeps getting a red rash around their mouth, it would be useful to know that it happened every time they had tomatoes. Next up, we have the temperature tracker. This is one of our newer features, and styling is almost finished. We estimate that this will be fully installed within another day if we were to continue our app in the future. We can track a child's temperature in either Celsius or Fahrenheit, and the degrees are converted to the unit chosen. If you wish to switch between the two, once a certain temperature is reached, 37.6 in Celsius and 99.7 in Fahrenheit. The thermometer turns red, indicating the child has a fever. Once submitted, the temperature is sent to the backend and then is displayed in the latest temperatures list below the thermometer. Parents and carers can now see if their child's temperature is getting better or worse and decide on the appropriate course of action. Especially useful if the child is being cared for by more than one person whilst they are unwell. Next up, we have our Napis Tracker. This is another one of our newer features, so there are a few things we would like to tweak and add here. Styling, of course, is the main issue, but there are some other features that we will work on implementing. Here we can monitor the child's output, be that wet or dirty, the size of the output, and in the case of a soiled nappy, every parent's favourite part, the colour. As with the feeds and temperature, this allows all parents and carers to keep an eye on how well their child is. Again, this is sent to the back end so that it can be continuously monitored by the user on the front end. And last of all, our final tracker is our weight tracker. This is similar to the current working practice for health visitors filling in the child's red book, is to keep track of their child's weight, height, and head circumference. This is still under construction, but again would be another day of work plus some more time to incorporate a graph, such as the kind used in the red book. Weight tracking can be useful for a variety of reasons, so we can see this tracker being of particular interest, especially for first-time parents of breastfed babies who may want the reassurance that they are meeting their baby's feeding demands. As you can see, all the latest weights are recorded on the left-hand side. You may have noticed at the bottom of our page we have two links. Those two links are the Contact Us and About Us page. Let's check out the Contact Us page. Here you can leave your first name and last name and write a subject about anything that you'd like and submit it. Now let's look at our About Us page. Here is a list of everyone involved with the project, and if you click on somebody's name, you can read a little bit about them and what their background was.
So with our planning, we spent about 5 days ideating and planning using various tools like Miro board. For ideation, we use Miro board to help us narrow down our favorite app ideas, eventually settling on a parenting tracker app. Within this, we allowed ourselves the freedom to come up with any ideas, no matter how out of the box they may seem. Then whittle them down until we, decide on our MVP. We created user stories to ensure we had touch point to come back to and make sure we stayed on track and then solving real life problems. Once we settled on the idea, we then used Escalidraw to draw our user's journey. We also use Escalidraw to design our low fidelity, to draw to see how our app is going to look like in the low fidelity. And then we also used the Figma for high fidelity. So as you can see, this is the some of the sketch or the drawing we use Escalidraw for low fidelity. And then next we have our Figma. This is more like our high fidelity, how we want ideally our app to look like. So we use a tool called Figma to assist us.
Hey, so moving on to the database side of things, we use the simple flowchart drawing software to come up with a rough initial structure, and then over a few iterations we landed to what you see on the slide right now. So up top there's a families table that joins up the users to their children, and then at the bottom we have a separate table for each of our trackers, which connect back to individual children and user who entered that data to the system. And it might look complicated from the outside, but we designed it with simplicity in mind, and the system works very well for our purpose, and we didn't have to do any complex queries to the database at all. And on to team dynamics and Agile. We chose to use an Agile methodology as we felt this would allow us to meet our MVP and continuously develop and deploy features smoother. And things we learned about that during the bootcamp, I believe we were able to apply quite well to our project. And so we started off defining our team dynamics. We agreed to do a stand-up in the mornings and a end-of-day retrospective. Sometimes we also met up after lunch for a quick catch-up. We also decided to do a short daily quiz, anonymous but public to the team, where we could put down our mood level, raise issues or concerns, and then go back to it and evaluate the situation. So we all loved that one. Then once we got into actual project work, the most useful tool I think was our Kanban board. We could add in new things from our plans to it, move them through the stages, and then celebrate our successes as we did that. And it kept the team on the same page throughout the month as well. And now on to our tech stack.
For the front end, we chose to code our custom-built components in React.js, but we also made use of external components for certain elements, such as state pickers and drop-down fields. We used HTML5 with React and CSS for the styling. We deployed the front end on Netlify early on in the process to adhere to our plan to continually deploy. For the backend, we used Express, Node.js, and PostgreSQL. We tested our routes using Postman when the front end wasn't working. We used Express Validator for the data validation and Supertest for the models to ensure that the data being sent between front and back end was correct. The back end was deployed on Heroku, again early on in the process. We use Git and GitHub effectively, branching off as teams and making pull requests once a new feature was ready to be deployed. For authentication and authorization, we use Auth0 in both the back and front ends. We expanded our understanding of Auth0 and Agile methodologies, successfully protecting our entire app with Auth0. We also improved our knowledge of JavaScript, wireless, creating the temperature and feeding trackers. Our main challenges have been CSS media queries. True again, we have learned a lot from this process and managing Git conflicts. The sky is the limit, but we want to do responsive styling on all pages, adding graphs to monitor the daily routine of your baby, the way to share the app with a partner carer so multiple people can log and track the data of your child across devices, local community support notice board for new parents, playdate section not only for women but also for everybody. Also, AI to track the patterns of your child's routine and make suggestions. Thank you for listening to us.